So there's an introduction technique that I wanted to share with you that you can sort of treat as sort of like a maybe pre-introduction or a casual introduction, but either way, if it makes sense for the situation, it totally works, and it's really great. So there are the formal or more sort of kind of official introduction techniques, and I talk about 12 to 13 of them in my book. But then there's another thing that I talk about in my book that I've sort of borrowed this concept from politicians. Yes, politicians, but politicians on both sides of the aisle that I've noticed, and they've been using this for decades, and it totally works, and I've also used this. So sometimes when you have a particular audience that I call sort of like this non-guaranteed audience, where the people who are there don't necessarily have to be there, and they don't even have to really be there for the whole time. So what do you have to do with these kind of audiences? You have to make sure that you can captivate them. You have to captivate all of your audiences, but in particular, you have to captivate this audience especially. And one of the ways in which you can do that is make sure that you appeal to them on a personal level, because flattery is one of the best techniques that everyone sort of responds to. We all love to be flattered. Flattery works. That's why it's been around since the beginning of time. So if you kind of look at it from the perspective of, let's say if you are I'm just going to use one of my schools. So I graduated from NYU. So let's say you've sort of made it big and you're a benefactor and you've gone back to your university as an alum and you are going to, maybe announce a particular scholarship or something like that, and you're making a speech or a presentation. One of the things that you may want to do to start off with right out of the gate is say something like, "So, isn't it a great day to be a violet?" Something like that, and it totally works. Why? Because it really makes people feel special, and it really makes them feel kind of all sort of warm and fuzzy inside. And this sort of technique actually puts the audience at ease and gives them sort of this additional internal incentive to want to listen to you. And politicians use this all the time. They really do. So there's an institution that I've been associated with for a long time, and they basically asked me to do a talk one night for veterans. So it was about marketing, and it was nothing about marketing that really kind of made me nervous or kind of threw me off, but really kind of gave me a little bit of anxiety from the start was how I was going to actually introduce myself to the audience. So I wanted to strike a balance between acknowledging their service and at the same time not coming across as disingenuous. So it basically started off with, "Thanks so much for your service and sacrifice." And that's all I said, and trust me, there were just warm smiles all across the room. So it really, really does work. So if you think about it from the standpoint of, let's say if you're a politician and you are on the campaign stump, or maybe you can say, "Hello, West Virginia. God, it's great to be back in cold country." So these types of things really do work. And one of the key reasons why they work is because, again, you are appealing to people on a very personal level. You're making that more intimate connection with the audience. You are making them feel comfortable. You're flattering them. And why are politicians using this for the past 50, 60, 80, 100 years? Because it works. And I'm not here to talk about politics or politicians, but both sides of the aisle use this all the time, and it completely works. They basically understand how to hit that emotional piece of their audience. So now the next time you want to do a presentation or a speech and you're in one of these sort of non-guaranteed audiences where the audience doesn't have to be there, you may want to try this technique as your introduction or even as an introduction to your introduction and really hit people at that sort of visceral, emotional level. So send me your comments and questions, and each week you'll get a chance to win a copy of my book. And I'll answer your comments and questions during the QA video for that week.